Settlement Bill, second reading.
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Titoihu Claims Settlement Bill be now read a second time. This omnibus bill represents the culmination of a huge amount of work over many years by some very dedicated people. The bill is going to give effect to 8 deeds of settlement which seek to remedy the wrongs of the past and set a foundation for 8 iwi at the top of the South Island to thrive into the future. Ngāti Apa, Ngāti Kuia, Rangatani o Wairau, Ngāti Koata, Ngāti Rārua, Ngāti Tama, Te Atiawa and Ngāti Toa Rangatira are the 8 iwi whose claims are going to be settled through this bill. Mr Speaker, I want to say something about the historical claims of the iwi. They relate to events at the top of the South Island, the prow of Maui's waka. In legend, from this waka, Maui and his brothers raised the great fish that is the North Island from the depths of the Pacific. With all remaining South Island historical treaty claims settled through this very bill, I'm sure that we as a country will be in a strong position to pull that sluggardly large fish, the North Island, to a similar position. And in that regard, I thank the Maori Affairs Select Committee for the tremendous work they did yesterday on the Tūhoi Bill in the North Island. I acknowledge Mr Tirakatani, who, to quote the lyrics of the old song, drove all night so that he could be here for the hearing today. The debate, I forget, I'm not in court anymore. Mr Speaker, this bill is a strong step in the direction of settling all historical treaty claims in New Zealand. The progress of the bill is indeed long awaited for the 8 iwi concerned, but also for New Zealand as a whole. And Mr Speaker, I encourage the House to support this bill today and the individual 4 bills it will split into for third reading. Titoihu at the helm of the waka was the setting chosen for one of New Zealand's earliest settlements for migrants coming out from England. Nelson was seen as an ideal place for those from England to start afresh, to find a place to set their feet. In the course of this stage of our country's development, we see 8 iwi lose access to their land. So it's time to start again afresh through this bill. Te Tauihu was also the setting in the Wairau Valley for one of New Zealand's most infamous violent conflicts between Māori, who were attempting to preserve their land ownership, and Pākehā. It's indeed unfortunate that large tracts of Māori land in Te Tauihu are today locked into inert forms of land ownership. Te reo is not widely spoken. Younger generations don't have the connection to the whenua that their ancestors had, and Māori do not have the representation in decision-making for their region that they should. Mr Speaker, as I often say when I give these speeches, it's not possible fully to compensate iwi or indeed any claimant group for the loss their people have suffered. The redress in this bill seeks to recognise the long-standing cultural and spiritual association the iwi had with places where they resided in the 18th century, but where since they have incurred substantial land loss and disenfranchisement. The bill provides a platform for the iwi to establish a strong position into the future and to rebuild a relationship of dignity with the Crown. Mr Speaker, the Omnibus Bill will also settle the historical treaty claims of Ngāti Toa across the Cook Strait to the lower North Island, and very importantly is going to recognise the relationship between Ngāti Toa and the Kamati Haka. The redress package acknowledges that Ngāti Toa lost land in the Porirua and Kapiti area, as epitomised by the case of Wiparata and the Bishop of Wellington. Negotiations between the iwi have been long and at times difficult. They were difficult because of the highly overlapped nature of interests and claims in this area. As such, a novel approach was taken whereby all 8 iwi progressed to a final redress package concurrently. Not only did they individually have to negotiate with the Crown, they also had to work through the differing views with other iwi. So I'm very grateful to the members of the Māori Affairs Select Committee who have considered this bill, having invited public submissions on it. They heard submitters in Wellington, and they travelled to Blenheim and to Nelson to hear from submitters. Such is their commitment. I thank the committee in the context of the handful of other treaty settlement bills soon referred to them on the back of this one. I acknowledge the time that the committee spends on these bills and once again say the committee has done an excellent job. The committee received 36 submissions, it's examined the bill and has proposed amendments with the endorsement of the Crown and the iwi concerned. The first amendment is a statutory release from liability in favour of Ngāti Rārua, Ngāti Tama and Te Atiawa in relation to Pukitawai, which is a cultural redress site which they will receive as part of their settlement. The second amendment is the refinement of a section of the haka kamati attribution. This refinement clarifies the exclusion for educational purposes from the attribution right in favour of Ngāti Toa Rangatira over the haka kamati, and I'll say a lot more about that particular form of redress, which is novel and very, very important when we come to the third reading. Mr. Speaker, other amendments are minor and technical in nature. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to.
Mr. Speaker.
Reno Terakatini.